I want to talk about spiritual gifts. Whether you're aware or not, this world that we live in is made up of more than the physical. The spiritual realm is very real, even if we can't see or touch it all the time. I had a spiritual awakening some years ago, don't even know when, but at some point I started to sense beyond the physical. Psychic, we're all psychic because we all have a psyche, and psychic just means of the psyche. But that knowing that comes from our pineal gland, our third eye, that was switched on in me, and it was very all-encompassing and very powerful, and it scared me, to be honest. What catalysed it was a large dose psychedelic ceremony, and before and after that ceremony I had experienced things which I couldn't explain. Human logic just did not stretch to cover what had happened to me. I experienced miraculous overnight physical healing. I experienced telepathy, telekinesis, time and space reordering itself in front of my very eyes. I experienced visions, which later I came to experience in the flesh. And what happened to me was, I think I was so fearful that my gifts got paused, just switched off for a bit. And it all makes sense now, because what transpired after that was a lot of spiritual warfare, and I wasn't necessarily aware of it. A lot of what happened, but looking back now, this is because I wouldn't have been able to handle it. My fragile ego mind would have gone one of two ways. I would have got very, very frightened, or I would have inflated my sense of self because of it, and I would have been very prideful and arrogant. So I took a different path, and I tried to exist back within the matrix construct of control, and it didn't happen. It can't. You can't take the red pill then the blue pill. It doesn't work. So I actually tried to go back into a comfort zone, which culminated in me getting baptized into Christianity, because that felt like a safe bet. But you can't unlock all this esoteric, occulted knowledge and wisdom and then forget it. So obviously I was never going to be able to be in Christianity. But I did experience the hypocrisy, and then fully emancipate myself from this bullshit, angry sky daddy god. I released the fear of going to hell, because I realised that I'd already been there. And that's the thing with the battle that I have been through. For the most part, it was just the physical I had to contend with. But I always knew that I was guided. My intuition is just on point. And, things like spiritual discernment, they are also gifts that come when you're responsible enough. The point is, I had to be in the safety net of the physical whilst all of this went on. Energetically, I knew, I felt, I deteriorated, my energy levels, ebbed and flowed because of it. And so obviously I could understand what was going on. I've had to create new timelines by defeating all of the curses, the bloodline stuff. It's in a lot of the sacred texts and biblical prophecy. Because that's the thing, I knew what I was doing when I got baptized, because I understand the Christ, but I understand it to be within each of us. So when I agreed, when I contracted with the pastor or magician or whatever they're called, I did, but I was agreeing to myself. I was agreeing to undertake the path, the narrow path. I was already on that path. I just solidified that in my mind. Not everything in the Bible is a trap. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear can get messages everywhere. There are seeds planted throughout time and space. Certain checkpoints, certain moments, and if we choose to water those moments and fully absorb that now, then that's how we get the tools that we need. Everything in this world is inverted to keep us in fight or flight mode so that we can't enjoy the moment. So that we're constantly either depressed because of what has happened to us, or anxious because we don't know what's going to happen to us. But right now, it's safe. So it always is. If we stay present and aware of what's going on, we're untouchable. We tap into the God within. Who can kill God? See, what is called evil in this world doesn't try to kill God. What it does, it just poorly replicates God. The idea of God. Think about it, 99.9% truth is still bullshit. So the devil appears as God and gives people the things that they think their soul is calling for, but really it's just their dirty mind or their dark heart, which we were all guilty of having at one point. But the difference is choice. If we always choose love and understanding and self-knowledge, know thyself, to walk through hell, what that means is to uncover all of the demons inside you, make friends with them, make them fall in love with you, and then not only will they never cause you any harm, they will work for you. But if you offer any sort of darkness to these demons, well, they'll feast on that. We just have to be holy water. It doesn't take much to taint a water supply. One drop of oil in a bucket of water is contamination. One drop of water in a bucket of oil, what's that? We have to love ourselves first before we are responsible enough to love other people. Because if we don't understand what we're capable of, then it's going to bleed out of us. It's going to end up hurting people who have done nothing. Life showed us that we're not worth loving, which causes us to do things to help us agree with that. We're just providing enough evidence to perpetuate it. We are a self-fulfilling prophecy, one way or the other. What about if it started today? What about if you said to yourself, that is enough now? That is enough now. It just hurts me. Why would we do that? Why would we do that? We are nature. Would you throw a brick at a squirrel? Would you set fire to a tree? Well, why are you stabbing yourself in the heart? Love is the most potent force in this life. In the inversion, fear is the currency, because that's the opposite. When you understand that it's a game of chess, then you can work out the rules and reverse engineer your own mind. And then, when you complete it, they give you the board. Game over. Insert new disc. It's just about reaching the point where you say it's enough, you know? Because love will always win. Love has already won. Hate was just an afterthought. I know some people make it difficult. Some people have given love a bad name because words are cheap. Words are spells, and for some people, the three most powerful words in this world, I love you, has become a spell that they knowingly wield as a weapon. Really, it's a tool to unlock. But some people know. Some people know there are certain spells. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. I love you. Like we're little children saying 3 syllables just to avoid the repercussions. Like after we've just been discovered crayoning on the living room wallpaper. We can heal from anything that's happened to us. absolutely anything. But it takes a tremendous amount of strength because ultimately we have to forgive. And there are certainly inexcusable acts. We were all born to just love and get along. We're capable. Some people have done horrendous things, and I've had to forgive some inhuman acts. And do you know what I've learned? I'm free because of that. But I see people who refuse to let go and they want to take that resentment and bitterness to the grave. And the thing is, we have to be careful what we wish for because that brings the grave closer to us. Most people basically die because of repressed emotion, illness, wellness involves release, surrender. Our organs hold on to our emotions because everything is energy, electrical impulse. Our body is a circuit board. Certain emotions go to different parts. Anger is the liver, grief is the lungs, heart speaks for itself. But most of us have been through several traumatic events in our life. And these emotions, as a result of trauma, basically just re-traumatize us because every day you wake up and it's still there, but you refuse to feel it, so it's just like a sense of it, just a dull ache, but constant. And every now and then we get a bit closer to it. We can feel the wound opening up, so we do what we do to avoid that. Patterns, addictions, or we spend an inordinate amount of time around other people, which is not healthy for anybody. We are social creatures, we thrive in social situations, but we also need balance. We need alone time, we need to be away from other people's energy and thought forms. But I know what it's like to just be around people. To feel lonely amongst many people. But what I felt was a weakness, that loneliness, that's a strength because I'm not lonely now. I just know what it means to be alone. So in hindsight, it was a gift. It was only the part of me that wanted to feel like I belonged that made it feel like a negative thing. In truth, we all want to feel a sense of belonging. But the only true group is a group of individuals, which means that the entry fee is being who you are, exactly who you are without trying to imitate anybody else. And that's a bit of a scary place because it's like, it's the unknown, it's letting things come out which were in but have never been expressed. But then after a while, it's not scary, it's exciting. Because life is meant to be lived, it's not meant to be monotonous. Clocks and calendars are a curse. If we can be fully present in what we're doing, all the time, that's called living. That's beyond existing, surviving. That's painting the town rainbow coloured. That's how new things are created. So that's what we're doing. We're all just walking each other home. Everybody that watches these transmissions is learning and healing, whether they feel it or not. Because the frequency of these transmissions is pure love, even if you can't tap into that right now. My heart is shooting out peace and love and joy and innocence and purity, and you are receiving it, and it's activating certain things and unlocking potentials. It's still about choice, but I tell ya, it's painful. It's a painful journey, but it's not as painful as not that. Trust me. And pain is power. Pain is the demons. We don't need to tame any energies in this life. But if we can get certain energies on a leash, then not only are we safe, we're also protected. God loves you.